Hello and welcome to AutoSave. My name is Nick Andrade and I'm here with my co-host Camille Salazar Hadaway. And on today's episode, we are continuing our journey through Jedi Fallen Order. Cam, how are you doing today? And are you ready for some Star Wars?
Star Wars. It's everything the kids are talking about. I don't know what that was, but yes, I am ready for some Star Wars. I was trying to match your voice because you were giving me a little bit of, you know, the Senator Palpatine vibes.
Yeah.
When you're like Star Wars, but I didn't.
There are times when I'm leading the episode and I'm thinking, am I talking to like radio? Like, hey, this is 92.5 Hits FM. So I'm always just like, should I tone it down a bit to make sure like I sound natural? And I think that intro, I definitely sounded like a radio host. So, but I'm not, I promise.
You know what? We're here for it. We come back every episode just to hear your radio voice off the top and then your impressions.
I come here for your singing. That's what I come here for.
Well, I mean,
yes.
It's a gift that keeps giving.
I would have ended this podcast a long time ago if it wasn't for your singing.
You're welcome, world.
Yes. Beautiful voice. Anyway, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order. That's what we're here for. And on last week's episode,
when the purge started and our clone troops turned against us, my Padawan and I took several younglings and we went into hiding. But we didn't last long. Imperial Patrol was about to discover our location, so I tried to lure them away from my Padawan Trilla. She stayed behind with the younglings, but they caught me. And they tortured me. They wanted to know about the others and how many were left, but mostly they wanted to know about Cordova and where he went.
But you escaped.
Yeah. It was a prison riot. I saw my opportunity and I took it. But they almost broke me. And I am not the same as I was, Cal.
Your Padawan. Did she survive?
No.
so we learned about Seer's Padawan and how she was killed, quote unquote, and how Seer managed to get away only to kick being a Jedi to the curb, basically. And we traveled to Zepho. We played with some balls in the temple, of course, and learned yes, spears. And we learned Force Push. In today's episode, it's off to Kashyyyk. I'm super excited. The planet of the Wookies, to find Cordova's old friend, Tarful, yes, who can help us on our quest to find the Jedi holocron. How excited are you to meet Wookiees? I can already tell by your voice. Where do they rank in your Star Wars character? Like,
they are top tier. I should have wore my Wookiee sweater. I got these sweaters made when Return of the Jedi,
1983?
I know. I was like, I wasn't even born. I was like, no. Oh my gosh. What is the new one's called? See, this is the thing. They escaped my mind because of how. Thank you, Force Awakens. They escaped my mind because of how, those movies went. But I got them made for myself, my partner, and his parents, because we all went to the theater, Christmas time to watch. And I actually got the Wookiee sweater, but they're made as like Legos.
Oh, so it's Wookiee Lego Wookiee.
Yeah,
Nice.
Wookiee Lego, and they're like
Love it.
silhouettes. So I should have done that. I love Wookiees. That's horrible. What's your? No one wants to hear. My singing keeps people here, apparently, according to Nick. But our Wookiee impressions get them leaving. So I'm pretty sure high drop-off rate right now because of the Wookiee impressions.
We need a guest who's really good at it who could do it for us. Because my dog is sleeping next to me and looked at me like I killed a dog. So yeah.
Yes. Or maybe your dog now understands you. Maybe that's how you guys should communicate from now on.
Good point. Where do Wookiees come? Like, is Chewie the best Wookiee, right? We know a few Wookiees.
We know a few Wookiees, but it's always Chewie.
It's always Chewie, right?
It's always Chewie. It's always Chewie. I mean, Chewie just found our way into our hearts. Wookiees were introduced as like these, and they are fierce warriors that could just rip your arms off. And Chewie almost did so many times to beloved characters, but didn't because he has a heart of a teddy bear.
You know what character does and would rip someone's arm off is from Boba Fett, Chrysantan.
Yes.
Chrysantan, I think his name is. Again, don't quote me on the pronunciation, but this is a badass Wookiee who is a bounty hunter and is a beast and can take a beating as well. I feel like we should have had some more Wookiees in the universe, a little bit more like other than Chewie that we know about. I'm glad that they made a character who is a badass as this one in Boba Fett, the series, of course.
Yeah, it's always great when we have that variety. I mean, out of all the warriors, I feel like the Wookiees are probably the fiercest after, like, the big bads.
There's like Mandalorians I think are pretty badass.
Yeah, but they're not villains. Oh, well, I guess the fighters. The fighters are
well, no,
badass.
a lot of Mandalorians can be villains.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right?
That's true.
What Darth Maul, I can't remember his like race, but his people are very, very badass as well.
That is true.
Scary.
That is true.
Which we might see in this game because we do go to Dathomir at one point. Anyway, question of the day. Okay,
yes.
Here is something. If you were to have a job in the Star Wars universe, other than, you know what? You can be a Jedi if you want, but I'm going to say it's a cop-out answer because, I wanted to be a Jedi as a kid. I'm sure my kid self would be angry with my answer here, but what is one job that you would have in the Star Wars universe?
I think I would be a stormtrooper.
No. Good accuracy?
No, bad accuracy. I don't trust my accuracy.
Okay.
But it'd be hilarious every time, like, he flips out and then, like, you see your colleague get murked and you're like, oh, well, I guess I got to clean that up now.
Get murked.
Like, think of how ridiculous that job is. You're just like, just how they hide from him.
It's traumatizing.
Him and Kylo Ren, like with one of them, but like not too close. Just like one of the stormtroopers in the background that don't really get noticed and don't get hurt by anything.
Right.
I would want to be one of those. How about you?
You remember Undercover Boss, Kylo Ren edition?
Yeah.
SNL? Like, that's how I think it actually would be because it's probably terrifying to work for the Empire and exhausting.
Exhausting, terrifying, but I think we could find a little bit of humor in there. I mean, you got to make light of your day somehow. Okay.
So for me, my answer is I would be a pod racer or someone that is involved in pod racing. And I'm not even a car guy.
Like a mechanic?
I would be a mechanic too. And I don't even know the first thing about cars. I don't even have a car. All right. But there's something about pod racing. Like in Phantom Menace, the sound effect that Sebulba's pod racer makes where it goes and like the THX music, all surround sound is like so sick. Like I would love to be involved in pod racing at some point on Tatooine. That'd be great.
I feel like your hearing would be murked if you want to hear that all the time.
Is that the word of the day, murked?
Yeah.
My hearing is already bad as is. Okay, and I don't even go to that many concerts. I think I got an earwax problem. I'm not sure, but we'll talk about that on our hospital episode. But yeah, so I would be a pod racer. You like my answer?
I like that. I do like your answer. Concerned for your ear safety, but I think you do a really good job.
You're concerned for my ear safety. However, you'd be a stormtrooper who'd probably be dead in 2 seconds. So
I mean, live fast, die young, right?
Yes, exactly. That's a good motto for this episode. Live fast, die young. After the break on AutoSave, we head into Kashyyyk and all the Wookiee love.
One, kid. Aren't you supposed to be watching the monitors?
Guerrilla fighters, Wookiees and off-worlders ambushing an Imperial convoy.
Walkers approaching their position.
Tarful could be with them.
Tarful could be anywhere, like deep in the ground, like we're gonna be if we get caught up in that battle down there.
We don't have any other options, and they'll die without our help.
So what's your plan?
Sabotage. We used to scrap walkers on Braca. I'll just jack one.
Get a load of the kid. He thinks we're back in the Clone Wars.
Captain, get us near those walkers.
Wait, what?
Listen, those walkers double as troop transport, so once you get inside, be careful.
For no freeze grease to work his magic.
Hey, do me a favor. Stay alive down there.
I'll add it to the plan.
As we enter Kashyyyk, we notice the Resistance fighters, I guess they're the Resistance, are fighting the Empire. Seer tells us, Seer's kind of being a little downer right now, but tells us that the Empire is enslaving or displacing the Wookiees, which is not okay. Cal, of course, his pure heart, he wants to help, and decides the best course of action is to hijack an AT-AT. He jumps from the ship into the water. Super fun start. Before we get into it, though, Cam, I need to say something very important here.
What?
Is in this game, they call it an AT-AT. And I don't know what you call it, but we need to decide the bottom.
It was an AT-AT.
1,000%.
At.
So I did some digging afterwards because I'm like, this is not okay. And I've heard there was discussions about it. Apparently, the Lucasfilm people say that it is indeed an AT-AT.
Was this before or after they went back and had to remaster everything with poor graphics? Because, state of mind really...
I believe this is Disney.
determines...
Yes.
Okay.
I believe this is Disney Lucasfilm who has decided this. However, I kept digging, and there's so much debate on it, because the main issue I have here is if it was called an AT-AT, why is it also then called an ATST? Would it be an ATST? Because that doesn't make sense.
It's an ATST.
However, I dug into this military terms, and a person from the military in the United States talked about this and said, in terms of if it was an actual military thing, it would be called an AT-AT, because they do say things like SOCOM and other words that they use as whatever. They say the full word. They wouldn't call it an AT-AT. They wouldn't call it SOCOM. They would call it SOCOM.
Maybe it's just a thing where if you are really, really, we all thought we were really into it, the combat of the Star Wars universe, and we're like, okay, it's an AT-AT, but because we're not living in those battles, we don't commonly refer to it as an AT-AT. I feel like maybe it's like one of those things, like when you're in the battles, if you're a soldier that comes into contact with these, then it's an AT-AT. But then if you're not, it's just an AT-AT. I guess I'm just going to say it's both for argument's sake. But I'm curious what everyone at home thinks.
It could be both, because Star Wars Rebels, the show, called it an AT-AT. So we are conflicting Disney things. So we need to get to the bottom of it eventually.
Or just blame the fact that it's Disney Lucas, so they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, I'm going to call... That's true. I'm going to call it... Well, that also opens up a can of worms. But I'm going to call it an AT-AT in this episode. You can call it however you like, but I'm sure you're going to call it AT-AT as well. How fun was this start of this mission where you got to hijack an AT-AT? I thought it was super cool. And you get to shoot the cannons and the blasters and everything.
Firstly, that whole cutscene, amazing. Kashyyyk, amazing. Like, I love that it's just like water that you're seeing, like the swampiness. And then I never thought ever we would climb up an AT-AT, especially like just how they did the vines on the side. This was so cool, and it was very unexpected. I wasn't expecting something like this off the top. Usually games would put something like this in the middle, but I like it was just like we just crash into the water, and then it's go time.
And Cal was just like, I'm just going to jump off the ship into the water and hijack this thing. Just super cool. And then you destroy an entire Empire base, which is also super cool.
It definitely does not make me want to be a stormtrooper at that base.
Well, you done effed up.
I'm a really choosy stormtrooper if I ever one.
You're on a planet that doesn't have war, like a peaceful planet. You're just like on a base. Yeah, I understand. I got you. All right.
They're like, we're putting you on Kashyyyk. I'm like, I don't do Kashyyyk.
Well, after blowing up an entire Empire base with our cannons, we meet someone familiar to the Star Wars universe.
So, who are you looking for?
A Wookiee chieftain named Tarful.
Tarful is impossible to find. There's a reason he's evaded the Empire for this long.
He's a freedom fighter?
He's the freedom fighter, a symbol of the Wookiee resistance, striking at the Empire from the Shadowlands.
Seer, Grease, this is Saul.
How you doing?
What do you want with Tarful?
Jedi business.
The Jedi are dead.
Not all of them.
You get that off a corpse?
My master gave it to me.
This pad supports an Imperial refinery that runs on Wookiee slave labor. Intel suggests that some of the captives there are guerrilla fighters.
I should help them. One of them might know how to contact Tarful.
It's possible.
Jedi business. I thought that was really cool. But guess what? It's Forrest Whitaker himself, Saw Gerrera. I did not expect there to
I
be
did not expect that.
a Saw Gerrera cameo, but especially Forrest Whitaker is literally in this game.
I know, it's insane. And the crazy thing is, like, what is Forrest Whitaker doing these days? He's just like, I'm gonna be in the Star Wars game.
Well,
Like,
he probably got paid a lot of money.
oh yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. But like, I never, usually actors think they're better than video games, although there's been a
Sure.
rise of, top stars in video games. But this was like a pleasant surprise. I also realized in his performance here, he kind of like, I don't know where Forrest Whitaker is from, but he kind of gives me a New Yorker vibe.
Right. Well, I mean, they're like the Star Wars universe is now littered with New York and Boston accents. So I'm not really sure like how to feel about any of that. But it's cool to have Forrest Whitaker in this game. And then you can kind of see the connection with the canon and everything. The last time we saw him in a movie would be, of course, Rogue One, where I think he did perish. So we do know he dies eventually at some point. Because Rogue One would take place after this game. But it's super cool to kind of see how this resistance / rebels kind of thing starts. But we talk about Tarful. It seems in this game so far we are trying to find things that are not close at hand. Like everything is like a whisper or a mystery that we have to find. Tarful, we find out, is the number one Wookiee resistance fighter. He fights from the Shadowlands, and that's where we need to find him. However, there are Wookiees captive on Kashyyyk, and Saw needs help. We talk about trust a lot, Cam. We trust each other.
Yes.
But do we trust Saw Gerrera?
I do. I mean, it's Forrest Whitaker. How can you not trust him? No, I do trust him. I feel like he can't do any wrong, especially because I've seen this character in Rogue One, and it's like, although he dies, you feel for him. So I feel like it would be a crazy twist if it's like, no, you can't trust him.
Right, yeah.
But how we talk about Seer maybe having her own agenda, I don't think she's necessarily bad, but maybe Saw has his own agenda that he feels is for the greater good.
Seer warns us to say, Saw might be here for good intentions, but there are reasons and goals that he is here for himself / they might not necessarily align with what they're trying to do. So he is a tier above rebels in terms of he will do, things by any means necessary.
Yeah. Like not quite an extremist, but like maybe on the path there.
Yes. Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention, because we get a new outfit for BD1 and Cal, I wanted to ask you, what outfit are you rocking with right now? Or do you change it up a lot? Or what do you do?
I do not.
Oh
like,
my
this is
God,
something
Cam,
I do
are
in
you
games.
serious?
I know. I try to immerse myself as much as possible. And then I don't want to change it because I'm like, well, would they change it? Like if the developers didn't make it that the character is making that decision to change it, then it's not authentic to the character, but it's just my BS for not wanting to be lost in just in this world of wanting to change my outfit and like my skin, BB skin all the time. How about you?
Every time I unlock something, I use it, and then I try to see which ones I like the best. Like most of this game so far, I've been rocking with a dark blue poncho and the dark blue shirt with Cal, and then I switch up BD depending on like what planet we on, right?
Do you in BD match, Cal and BD?
Sometimes we match, sometimes I clash on purpose, but I like to like be almost camouflaged to the surroundings. So Kashyyyk, I use the rainforest poncho.
That's nice.
And then also BD1 looked like the Brazilian flag.
The Brazilian. That's so good. I keep going.
That is not that funny, Kev.
It is because I didn't see it. I was like maybe like a lizard, because the green is very reptilian.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, a Brazilian flag.
Looks
okay,
like he's ready
sure.
to samba, or it's ready to samba. So as we start to explore, we find a workbench. This is where we can teach BD1 how to short circuit Imperial tech. So some of those areas that you couldn't unlock before, or maybe some chests that you couldn't unlock before, BD1 can now get into. There's a few things we can go to. There's a spider that's pretty intense that we fight. Oh, yeah, that scared you, right?
Yes.
Jump scare.
It is. So I play right here at my desk. I have my console set up to my monitors, but there's also a spider that's been living in the corner of this window that's right next to my desk. And I don't know what to do because I don't want to kill it, but then I almost tried, but then it kind of gave me a look. And then when this came up, I was like, oh, its buddies are here, you know? Like this hit close to home.
Like it jump scared you while you were fighting the spider, and the spider then jumped on you or something like that.
But it's gross. Like I never want to see spiders in video games because their webs just
Also, new flame beetle enemies that blow up. The blow up enemies really annoy me. There's like the poison ones, and then these flame beetles, stuff like that. Don't like it. But we also have to climb, wall run through a few more things until we meet up with Saw again.
These refineries double as brutal prison camps. We use those cutters to create a distraction while you take your lightsaber and free the Wookiees inside. We need their help to stop the Empire.
Understood.
Watch yourself in there.
You hear that? Said he needs my help. Come on, buddy.
So this is kind of something I see in terms of what Seer had told us to be weary of Saw, which is he needs the Wookiees as resistance fighters, which means that's why he wants Cal to let them escape. So it's not necessarily that he just wants them to be free. He kind of needs them also to be resistance fighters.
Yeah.
But also, then we talk about the sap that they're making, and they're using the refineries to turn into some powerful compound, whatever it is. Does Saw want that? Is that what he's after? Like, am I thinking too much into this? Because I think Cal may be a little naive in trusting him way too easily.
You know what? Like when he was like, it's the sap. And then Cal's like, what do they want with the sap? And he's just like, they're making it into a compound. Like, you know, it's just like, are you sure? So I feel like there's definitely more to this sap than, firstly, wow, empires also may be drug dealers with the sap. This is a drug bust. But also, he literally how they're talking about this. But also it's like, I feel like the sap may enhance. I don't know. I have no idea what it is, but I think there's more to it here. You can't trust Saw at this moment. And do the Wookiees really want to become resistance fighters? Maybe not, but I feel like this is kind of the realities of war. When you are going through a battle, there's two sides. You are trying to win different fractions of like the planet in order to join your cause, right? So war's not good.
I guess that's a good point in terms of like the Empire's kind of ruining and destroying Kashyyyk, so the Wookiees have to fight regardless.
They have to. So it's either you let it happen or you fight.
What I noticed too is Cal is really spreading the word of him being a Jedi a lot more than I would expect, considering the Jedi are no more and the Empire literally hunt down any remaining Jedi. He's really spreading the word now that he's a Jedi to almost everybody that he meets, and I feel like that could definitely backfire.
I never thought of it like that, but you're right. I guess you wouldn't want to tell everyone this thing that armed force is looking for, right? But he does, and I think he's doing it because he feels like, firstly, he's empowered from where he was when we first met him, where he was in hiding. So I think he's kind of thinking like he shouldn't have to hide anymore. Like this is just who he is, and he's able to handle any pushback from that, right?
I mean, there's somebody called Darth Vader out there and Emperor Palpatine who could probably destroy him in 2.5 seconds.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we're used to seeing Jedi hide the fact that they're Jedi, you know, in this time frame of Star Wars lore. So it's like, maybe it's naive of him to think that he could be, firstly, so trusting and so open right away.
We get to swing on vines. Initial thoughts on that, because it's very finicky.
I died so many times.
You have to be like perfect going from one vine to the other.
Perfect.
And that sound that it makes when you fall down, it goes, and then you have to respawn, and it takes like 5 minutes to reload the respawn.
It is the saddest thing ever, because usually vines it like will auto grab, but this is like very precise auto grabbing. You have to be so precise with it.
There's no lazy gaming in this game sometimes.
No. It really pushes you.
Yeah. I always have to be leaning forward when I play this game, or else
I'm gonna lose it.
We get to see Purge Troopers. We fight some Purge Troopers. What do you think of those more enhanced Stormtroopers? I really like that there is enemies that normal enemies, let's say, that are actually difficult and not a joke like most of those Stormtroopers.
I honestly tried to avoid them. There was a point where I'm like, can I go around him? Is there another way for these Purge Troopers? I mean, they're quick too. They're very, very quick, and their blows hit hard. You have to be careful.
In most games, like you can, like if you're not like me, not the greatest gamer, you can like spam your attacks a lot, and most of the time it hits. You need to be like, you need to parry, you need to dodge, you need to evade. Like if you don't do those things, you will die.
Yeah, no, you definitely will. I just like how they introduced the Purge Trooper. Like, you open the door and there's like this little cutscene with them destroying some of the workers.
Hey,
and you're like, oh crap, I have to go up against
a Jedi.
Plus the staff. Like, that's what I want for a lightsaber, like a staff, but like 2 little lightsabers on the end. Like,
you're a big staff person, right? That's your like weapon of choice.
I love staff. Yeah.
Actually, we talked about that on a question of the day, I think, where your weapon of choice would be a staff, I think.
Yes.
Something like that.
You could use it as a walking stick. You could use it to fight. You could use it to lean on if there's no wall. Not if the lightsaber is on. Then you'll just melt. Well, I mean, it's going to be taller than you. It has to be to your spec.
Oh, so you're saying like
right?
the nubs are really, like the lightsaber part
really
is really small.
Really small.
Okay.
Really small. Yeah. I need a multi. Yeah, it's multifunctional.
I don't even know how to transition from that, but Saw says that we're blocked after beating the Purge Trooper, and we need to find a way to the Wookiees through defense. So that's where we go next. Get some more enemies. We now see Flame Troopers, which are Stormtroopers with flamethrowers. That's cool. BD short circuits, an Imperial machine to get us to a new area, and through here we can find a new terrarium plant and get some more Force essences if you can. That's one of the secrets unlocked. That's really important to expand your Force and your health. And then you also find another small boss spider, the albino Kashyyyk. You can get a lot of XP from that. There are definitely places you can explore despite having to go to your objective. I do like that it is a closed off map, but there are still areas that you can go explore. Unless, again, you need to heal and then you got to fight those enemies all over again.
Yeah, it doesn't feel so closed off as you would think because there's so much variety in how you're going through Kashyyyk, whether it is like with the vines, up the grates that are on the, like climbing up the grates. And it's just like, I find even though it's like mostly greenery, like you do get the refinery, like a factory type of feel that feels like very cold. Like, you know, we talked about how the places that we've been before has been very beautiful, but it feels like so far every planet keeps leveling up my expectations of the game because it's just hits a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's very vast and beautiful, I would think.
Yeah. Even with the spiders.
Yeah, I guess. Not your spider at home, though.
No. It's looking at me right now.
Once you get back on the main path, the Resistance, well, they're doing their thing.
I'm not sure. I just heard from the captain. They're coming. Oh, this is it. At least we have the high ground. What was that? Another hijack cutter. Reporting a live cutter near the cell blocks. Immediate aid requested. It's breaking through and destroying everything.
I made that clip. It's a short clip, but it's nice to hear the stormtroopers' perspective sometimes. And they were scared in the moment, right? And you never really get, especially you want to be a stormtrooper in our question of the day.
On a nice planet, not in battle.
Yes. We've seen like Finn in the Star Wars universe, the trauma that he faces in The Force Awakens, stuff like that. So I liked hearing their perspective.
Yeah, we've heard it throughout the game where like you find these recordings or you tune into their communications and you hear what they're thinking, and it's just a really cool perspective of the stormtroopers, whether it adds to the meme culture that we created around them, or it actually adds a more realistic look at to what these individuals are feeling.
You call it meme, not meme? Is it a meme?
Like it's no meme, but I said meme.
Oh,
like,
meme with a Y.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. That threw me off because I thought you called it a meme. And then we were about to fight. Okay.
Like me with the Y, yeah.
Okay.
Not me like what, Mariah Carey was calling herself all those years.
That's a good reference. Saw's team is, I don't even know how to transition from that either. We are killing it today. Saw's team is doing their best, I guess, to make sure that Cal can get in a good place to rescue the Wookiees in the prison. We fight off some more stormtroopers until we find out where the Wookiees are in prison.
Hey, we're here to free you. You're not alone.
Visitation is not permitted.
So we get ambushed by a security droid who means business with a boss battle cam. Here we are. Security droid. Looks like one of the ones from Rogue One, I believe.
I know. Or even Obi-Wan, right? Because, and so even... I was having a hard time with this battle because I'm like, no, you're supposed to be good. Aren't all security droids good before they're reprogrammed? But that's not the case. No, this is a easy battle. Nothing really too insane, but now the reveal of the Wookiees, that's just so cool. There's a bunch of them. Unfortunate circumstances that you're meeting them in, though.
Yeah, but we're rescuing them, so it's okay. I understand.
Yeah, but then you find some that are their bodies. You find bodies of Wookiees.
You do?
Yeah.
I didn't see the bodies.
You didn't see the body of the Wookiee?
No.
Oh
Maybe
my gosh.
I was just putting blinders on because I would be sad.
No,
if the
so
Wookiees were dying.
Yeah, when they're okay, we won't leave anyone behind, and then you're going through with the resistance fighters climbing up the grate. When you drop down, you could actually jump over there's a propeller thing. And there's a body laying on it. If you rotate the camera and you jump down, and then you use your echo ability on it.
Oh, I don't like that. That's sad. Well, I remember the echoes, but I guess I didn't see the bodies.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
So you see the body of the
R.I.P. to the Wookiee.
The sad thing that you learn about the Wookiees in this area is that Wookiee died from toxic poisoning.
Oh, yes.
So from fumes.
Yes.
So the sap, again, is having an intense effect on these Wookiees.
Once the droid is out of the way, we can finally concentrate on rescuing all the Wookiees that aren't dead. These are the nice, alive Wookiees.
Okay.
Glad to help.
Who's ready to fight some imps? All right, let's help these Wookiees get back in the fight. Great work, Jedi.
I might have left the Wookiee sounds in too long because we just hear a bunch of their language for a long time. But I wanted to show nothing is better than a happy Wookiee. We rescued them and it feels good.
We love happy Wookiees. And it just is more eye-opening that there's this image of Wookiees in the Star Wars universe that they're horrible warriors, but we all know that's not all they are. They're really great.
They're horrible
great
warriors? I thought they were great warriors.
Well, I mean great warriors, horrible with what they'll do in battle, right?
Okay. I understand.
Yeah, it's just great to see the softness and a bunch of Wookiees come together. I love when we see that.
The problem, however, is no one tells us about Tarful yet. So we rescued the Wookiees, but our own mission, even though we're helping Saw, our own mission, we still don't hear any rumblings of Tarful. So that means we got to keep moving forward and rescue some more Wookiees. BD1 learns a new ability that makes it able to control damaged security droids, which is pretty cool. So once they've been hit a bunch, BD can actually take them over, and then they can help you fight off other enemies, which is a nice, it's really cool. Like, it's not necessarily just like lightsaber hack and slash, like there's more to it.
Yeah, that is. I feel bad though sending the security drone to his doom, especially against the really intense troopers.
Yes.
But it is really cool to have this companion kind of follow you around and help protect you. Your personal bodyguard.
If you think about it, like droids in Star Wars universe, like they are people. Mm-hmm. Like they have emotions and feelings, and you know, they become our friends. So it is kind of sad that we have to, you know, throw them into battle. But like you said before, this is war.
This is war.
That's where we find where they're keeping the rest of the trapped Wookiees, and Saw needs backup. So more security droids and stormtroopers until we find out where to unlock the rest of them. And we do. Saw tells us to then, to get to the roof. And that's where we have our, I would say, the toughest fight of the entire mission. The mission hasn't been too hard so far, but we got flame troopers, security droids, and an ATST. Just kidding, an ATST. There could be harder, but this is pretty easy, right?
I mean, I was glaring at you for that. I was like, don't say ATS. No, it was a pretty straightforward battle, but it's a longer battle. Like, you just have to make sure that you are taking your time in these battles and not just trying to hack and slash. I think that's the key lesson of Fallen Order. Do not try to hack and slash. Like, just go through every interaction with some sort of strategy.
Once we get rid of the ATST, that's enough to help Saw and his team do the rest.
Everyone! These have been hard years. We've lost comrades, friends, family to the Empire. Dark times. And yet the fire still burns. Hope still burns. The Jedi are not yet lost. We are not yet lost. Kashyyyk is not yet lost. For the cause!
Now this is what it's like to have an actor, a thespian in a video game, because that was so a chilling, amazing speech.
Yeah, that was like movie quality speech right there, performance. I love this moment. And we see like Saw's actually, I guess we were a little bit too hesitant of Saw because it just seems like Saw is like, no, I want you on the team and no pressure. Offer still stands. You could still come back anytime, which makes me a little sus of Seer. Why did Seer need to tell us that warning? No, seriously.
We just don't like Seer. That's what it is. Yeah, especially like Seer has hid stuff from us and is like, oh, don't trust other people, but I haven't said and I haven't told you the whole truth, so blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, no, this is really cool. And the other, one thing I did notice, I don't know if you spotted this, but some of the Wookiees that we saved still have their collars on. No one's going to take them off. I mean, that can't be comfortable. Can you take them off? Like, I feel like that's like one of the first things you do. You're free now, you know? Like,
I'm sure like they needed like a saw or like an actual saw or a drill or something to get it off.
Okay.
We'll see that off screen. Okay. They'll be okay.
Oh, so. Next time we see the Wookiees, they'll be
yes.
clear. Okay.
After this as well, Saw wants to talk to Cal and says, you should be on my team. Like, you should help us out. Which, of course, if you have a Jedi on your team, that's going to, have the odds in your favor. But Cal says he has his mission. He's got to complete it. And that's where Tarful comes in. But we find out that Tarful, well, we still don't know where he is. So our whole mission is, I guess, Kaplunko. But Wookiee is going to vouch for us and help us. But we're going to have to wait till we're on the ship and they'll give us a call. So we're on hold. They're like, okay, we'll give you a call in 9 to 10 business days, and we'll let you know when Tarful can see you. But I guess we'll go to Tarful at some point later on. I don't know. It's kind of sad that we did this whole thing and we only heard whispers, and we were like, okay, time to get back on the ship.
I mean, Nick, we saved a lot of Wookiees, okay? Look at the bright side. But yeah, it kind of delayed our mission in the process. Plus, I just don't understand the secrecy around Tarful. Like, does everyone know how valuable Tarful is? Is that why they keep Tarful under wraps?
He's fighting from the Shadowlands.
Yeah, or is it more like, the Wizard of Oz type thing? Tarful's the man behind or a woman behind the curtain, and they like had this whole story of Tarful, but no one sees Tarful.
Tarful's the man in the chair.
Yeah.
That's it for the planet of Kashyyyk for this episode. That's all for the main mission. So far, after the break, we talk more Wookiee and more on AutoSave.
Hey, Seer.
Cal, good to see you back in one piece. Mari Kosan contacted us. We know you couldn't find Tarful.
I love risking our lives for nothing. It's fantastic.
It wasn't for nothing. Mari and Choysic will come through.
I like your optimism. We could all use a little of that now and then.
Hey, I'm a positive guy, too. I'm positive that if I die, I'll be very upset.
You did good, Cal. We might not have found Tarful yet, but you saved lives today. Don't forget that.
Thanks.
Even though our mission didn't go as to planned, we saved a lot of lives, and Cal can be proud of that now, which is pretty cool.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
It all worked out because we got a vouch from Mari, and eventually we'll gain the Wookiees' trust by doing this deed for them, right? Like, they now all love us because we freed them.
Yeah, but also, do they really know us? Like, they love us. I feel like, okay, yes, we've done this task. They'll love us, but maybe they'll also not love us because we didn't stay.
Right.
Am I looking at this too dark?
No, I think that makes sense. Yeah, it's like, oh, well, our planet's being destroyed. Because if you look at Saw's speech was like, everything is not yet lost.
Because we have a Jedi. Yeah, and it's just like, because we have a Jedi fighting with us. Like, and the Jedi aren't lost, and everyone had this hope, and we just crushed it. Kind of put on the spot there, Saw. I think it's because I felt bad during that speech. Because I was like, oh man, I want to help. But we have this whole thing going on with Cordova's plan. We got to follow that path. But I mean, I want to help out.
Right. At the end of the day, we want to help Wookiees as much as possible. They're cute. They're lovable.
They're amazing. But I hope this means that they will make an appearance again. Like, I don't want this to be a one-off.
Mari has to contact us again, right? So we're going to have to go to Kashyyyk again, is my guess.
Hopefully.
Yes. We saw, again, we have Saw Gerrera as a cameo. We've seen Obi-Wan so far. Do you predict we see bigger cameos or Star Wars characters in it? Because let's be honest. Mm-hmm. Like, at this part of the junction, like, I'm like, my predicted ending is that Darth Vader kills Cal. Like, that's what I think.
Oh, really? And I'm
like,
a
at
pessimist.
some point, like, they're going to be like, there's a Jedi. There's a Jedi. We got to kill the Jedi, right? That's my thought.
No, you mean the Sith? Like, we're gonna see one of like Darth Vader, or I think I would love to see Darth Maul. I know we probably won't.
It's possible. We're going to Dathomir.
I mean, it'd be really cool if we were to see him. But yeah, no, I think we're in for more cameos. This is only the third planet we visited.
Yes, and
we've already seen 2 big cameos, not to mention Seer being a cameo on her own. But yeah, like I'm hopeful.
Yes.
I just hope they're good. Like, I also like that they're going, well, I guess they did go like really big with Obi-Wan, but like, because Saw I wouldn't necessarily think is a big cameo. It's more the Forrest Whitaker is a big cameo than Saw, but yeah.
I makes sense to the story.
I want to see Donnie Yen in here.
Oh, that would be really cool. Or like the whole Rogue One team. That'd be sick.
The whole Rogue
Actually,
One
they've never
team.
met. They didn't meet before that movie, so
No,
I guess that would never happen.
No, they didn't.
Technical talk. Kashyyyk, very finicky. But I think, like, we talked about the vines, just the movement. But I think that's an overall theme that we're probably going to come to see a lot of. But I think the main issue I have, because the game looks beautiful. The characters mostly look beautiful. The scenery looks amazing.
Yeah.
And they did the Wookiees dirty. The Wookiees look so bad. They look like it's N64 Wookiees. I don't know what happened with the rendering of those guys.
It would have been better if they just hit up WB and like, hey, can we just use your Wookiees that you have for the Lego games, please?
Legit.
I don't know why they did that to the Wookiees, but this is what I'm saying. Like, for the most part, this game is pretty consistent with like the visuals.
Yes.
But then there's these odd choices. And I'm going to say they're choices because the other character designs have proved that they know how to design characters. Odd choices in design that really they just stand out for the wrong reasons, right? Like the seer thing we were talking about earlier. It's just how they designed her is nothing like the actress. How they did these Wookiees, it's like, why did they have to blur, like turn on the N64 filter, as you're saying?
Yeah, because
and increase blur. Like
the
I
hair
don't
is like
understand.
non-existent, and then I see Cal's like flowing hair flowing in the wind, and it moves with his movement and stuff like that, and it's so wavy. And then the Wookiees are just like, bleh.
Yeah, man.
I don't get it.
That's what the Wookiees are like. Oh, why'd they do this to us? Why?
I'll give it a plus though. The music in this game, I could talk about it further, but it's so Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love it. It is so good.
Really good.
What's your lightsaber look like right now? So we
Nick.
talked about the color. You changed the lightsaber, right?
Yes. I have like the orange lightsaber now.
Yep. Sweet.
And then I forgot the attachments, but it's like gold and like this dark like blue.
Yes.
That I have. I kept that skin on it for every piece, so it matches. Like, who does that? Who has?
Oh, I have opposite everything.
Oh
Of
my
course.
gosh! So like your lightsaber just looks like a mixed match of everything.
No, I make it look like how I think it looks like nice, but it is mismatched parts. But I think they just work well together.
Oh no,
that's all.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
That should not be. See, those things. If I were watching you play, Nick, and I saw you make that decision, I'd be like, "What are you doing?" They're named the same thing because they have to go together.
My designs are pretty cool though. Okay, so
No, they are. They're.
I think they're
Okay, fine.
And right now,
I'll
my
trust you.
lightsaber is like the hilt is black, just pure black.
Ooh, nice.
Really cool.
I like
I
that.
like it a lot. Final question before we go: what skill are you focusing on more right now? Force, lightsaber, or survival, or are you balanced?
I try to keep it as balanced as possible.
Yeah.
But I usually lean more to the Force side because, I mean, what's the point of being a Jedi if it's
Right.
not the lightsaber or, more importantly, the Force? How about you?
Survival for me because the
Really?
health bar really annoys me. So I've been trying to I think the health bar is so small, I need to expand it more. So that's what I'm trying to
That's fair.
But the force does get annoying too because you run out of force a lot quicker.
Yes.
But for me, lightsaber I thought would be like, oh, I'm gonna upgrade lightsaber because that's what I'll attack. But for me, the other two are way more important than the lightsaber.
Yeah, they are, because I think lightsaber is just like different ways to attack. You'd still get by, but
Yes.
that Force bar, making sure that you have enough filled so you can really use those powers, and your health is important. I try to keep it as balanced as possible, but I usually lean more to the Force because the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
I think that's a good place to end it for this week. Next week, we head back to Zepho, where we got to do some more temple stuff and find out more about what the heck is going on with Cordova and his plan. Next time on AutoSave. AutoSave is produced and hosted by Camille Salazar-Hadaway and myself, Nick Andrade. The show is also produced by Dylan Wilson. Gameplay and additional elements provided by Chris Seitzer. Technical production by Greg Fillion. Executive producer, Clayton Hansler. You can follow the show at AutoSave Podcast on Twitter and AutoSave Pod on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can subscribe to the show wherever you're listening to it right now, and if it happens to be Apple Podcasts, kindly leave us a rating and review, but only if it's good. AutoSave is a Soda original, hosted on the Soda Podcast Network.